Kimno Rajayana
Kimno Rajayana Govinda.
Kim Bhogir Jivitena Va.
Kim Bhoge Chivitena Va.
Yesham Arte Kankshitam No.
Yesham Arte Kanchitam No.
Rajyam Bhoga Sukhani Cha.
Rajyam Bhoga Sukhancha.
तो इमे अवस्थिता युद्धे
Aime Vachitra Yudhi.
प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च
Pranam Satyasva Dhanani Cha.
आचार्य पितर पुत्रास्
Acharya Pitara Putra.
तथैव च पितामह
Tathaiva Cha Pitamaha.
मातुला श्वशुरा पौत्र
Matula Swasura Pautra.
याला संबंधिनस्तथा
Syala Sambadhinastata.
एतान्न हन्तुम् इच्छामि
Etanna Hantum Ichhami.
न तो अपि मधुसूदन
Sopi Madhusudana.
अपि त्रैलोक्य राजयस्य
Trailokya Rajyasya.
हेतो किं नु मही कृते
Heto Kim Namahi Kriti.
निहत्या धृतराष्ट्रन्न
Nihatya Dhasanna.
का प्रीति स्या जनार्दन
Kapiti Sya Janardana.
So kindly read.
O Govinda, of what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living beings, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may covet. But when one takes the opposite way, namely, when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entity are satisfied. Arjuna's deep affection for community and family members is exhibited here partly due to his natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives. But Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. This is a typical calculation of material life. The transcendental life, however, is different. Since the devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing. Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Arjuna did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotees by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them.
Hmm. So yeah. Arjuna is saying, if they want to kill me, they can go ahead. I don't want to kill them. So why is Krishna called Madhusudana here?
The killer of demon Madhu.
Yeah, that's right. And he's being called Govinda.
Pleasure giving to senses.
I'm sorry, your voice is a little very soft.
Lover of gopis, I guess.
Pleasure giving
Go-
to
Govinda,
and
because he gives pleasure to cows and senses.
yeah.
Lover of gopis, that's why he's called Gopinath.
Okay.
Here, Govinda is because he's the master. He gives pleasure to the cows and the senses. So here, Arjuna is saying to Krishna that Krishna should understand what Arjuna wants. Are you all able to hear me? All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, yes.
Because okay, sorry, because my screen was being a bit off. Okay, but Arjuna is thinking that Krishna should satisfy his demands, that he should not need to kill them, but Krishna can kill them by himself. That's what we do. We don't want to do our duty, but then we want Krishna to just keep on supplying us whatever we want. Krishna, I want this, Krishna, I want that, Krishna, I want this. But Krishna also sees what's good for us, what's not good for us. So here, Govinda, if we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. What does that mean? Anyone?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Here we are reading, if we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. So, how,
Because
how do we understand this?
because when we satisfy the senses of Govinda, then our own senses will be satisfied. It's like inside we feel satisfaction when we fulfill the senses of Govinda.
The
Yes,
source
that's
of
right.
our satisfaction is
Yes,
God, right? That's why.
yes, that's right. Yes. And Prabhupada
It's
many
like when
times gives the example. Hmm? I'm sorry.
it's like when we do some donation or something, whatever, some help to someone, so our heart feels satisfaction. So that satisfaction is the original satisfaction for the super soul, that we feel satisfaction.
But
Is
the
that?
donation or something, that depends then again. Are we actually doing it for Krishna or something else? Here we are talking about satisfy the
Yes.
senses of Krishna specifically,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that one again depends if we are doing it in the mode of goodness, which is different than doing devotional service. This
Oh,
here, Prabhupada is speaking about bhakti. So how we understand this, Prabhupada gives many times, many places the example that there is a plant, there's a tree, we water the root of the tree, automatically the full plant becomes healthy, green, lush, grows nicely. There's water and the leaves and the branches automatically get the water. So this is what happens when we try to satisfy the senses of Krishna. But what we try to do is that we are trying to satisfy our own senses. And then that leads us to frustration. That's like trying to water each and every leaf and branch of the tree instead of watering the root. And so the plant dries up, no? Because the root is not getting the water. So Prabhupada gives this example. We are thinking we are the master of the senses. But yesterday we heard that no, Krishna is the master of senses. That's why he's called Rishikesh. Our eyes, our nose, our hands, our legs, we think they are ours. But this senses, the body, actually it belongs to Krishna. It's been given to us by Krishna. So how can we satisfy? What are a few examples that we could, what are a few ways that we could satisfy Krishna's senses?
Devotional service.
Yes. It's devotional service, yes. And how can we use our senses in devotional service?
Uh, hear about
By
Krishna.
Hearing about
That's
chanting,
right.
Him.
Here. Yes.
making
Yes.
prasadam,
Because the ears are always hearing. So if we hear about Krishna, and what was the other one? Sorry, Yogita was saying something. I can't
and
hear very well.
dancing, making prasadam,
Making prasadam, yes.
Chanting His
uh,
name.
Chanting,
dancing in the
yes. Dancing, yes. That's right. Yes, thank you.
and
So many
chanting.
ways. Yes. By chanting, we are using our tongue. By prasadam, we are using our tongue. Hands and legs when we are cooking the prasadam. So yes, and then Krishna feels satisfied. And then because Krishna is satisfied, he shares that satisfaction with us and we feel satisfied.
हाँ, भक्तों के
Sorry, Auntie Rashmi, आपका आवाज क्लियर नहीं है.
भक्तों के संग करने से association with
Absolutely.
devotees.
Yes, very good. Yes. Association of devotees. What does actually mean association of devotees?
Like
What does
being
a
with
person actually do when
Sankirtan.
he's Sankirtan? That's right. Thank you. Hearing and chanting and the association of devotees. That is
talking
Sankirtan.
about Krishna,
Thank you.
his pastimes.
I'm sorry?
I mean, talking about Krishna and his pastimes with
Yes.
devotees. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Uh,
That's right.
okay.
Hearing and chanting and the association of devotees. And then the more we do that, the more we will feel the happiness. That's the real way that we'll be able to feel happiness, joy. Yeah.
Actually, I have one question. We talked about donation here, right? And you said donation with Krishna consciousness. What is that? Donating with Krishna consciousness.
So then again, donating for Krishna, for the giving to the Krishna conscious cause, or donating it to the temple of Krishna.
Okay, so like any other donation which it doesn't come under Krishna consciousness, which is not done for
Then,
Krishna. Like if some needful person, a needy person needs anything, and we just donate something or for a
yeah,
cause
yes.
which might be
So then
closer to our
Krishna,
heart. Is that for Krishna
yeah,
consciousness?
yeah. So Krishna says about this in Bhagavad Gita. In the later chapters, we will hear how each and every activity of us can be in goodness, passion, or ignorance. So
Mm,
charity also go in the mode of goodness, giving it to the charity to the proper person at a proper time. You
mm,
know, there's charity
okay.
in the mode of goodness. Charity because we are expecting something in return will become charity in the mode of passion. And then
Mm,
charity in the mode of ignorance. Charity in the mode of ignorance would be, encouraging somebody to engaging in sinful activities
mm,
by the
okay.
charity. So, of
Yes.
course, if someone's needy, then giving charity at a proper time, at a proper place, that's a good, that's in the mode of goodness. Yes,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
thank you. So here, Arjuna here, he's completely Krishna wants to use him as an instrument, but Arjuna is thinking though, of the body. My all these relatives, they are the body, so he's unable to. His mind is just reeling. He's completely devastated. He doesn't know what to do. So, and here we have this nice. Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Are there any examples, any pastimes anyone can remember?
हाँ,
Krishna,
प्रहलाद महाराज
Prahlad Maharaj, very good. Thank you.
हिरण्यकशिपु उनको तकलीफ दी।
That's right. तो हिरण्यकशिपु को मारने के लिए नृसिंह भगवान को प्रहलाद महाराज को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए हिरण्यकशिपु को मार दिया. Yeah, he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsal. He loves his devotees.
and
Any other example?
during the battle, Krishna said that I am not going to take any, I will not take part in the battle. But when Bhishma Dev took vow that to kill Arjuna, that time Krishna said that Arjuna is a devotee, and him, he took that chakra, the wheel, the weapon kind of, and he was supposed to kill Bhishma that time. So for saving the bhakta, he broke his vow also, that I'm not going to
Yes,
fight his war. So that is also an example.
that's right. Thank you. And this pastime, Krishna, there's another thing to this pastime. Do you know what's the other one?
Uh,
Because Bhishma Dev had said, I'm going to make Krishna break his promise.
yeah.
So Krishna
He
is so kind that
complete that
he
wish
says,
to complete that, to fulfill that wish also, Krishna did this thing, and to
yeah,
protect his devotion, he did. Yeah.
yeah. So in this pastime, we can see how Krishna, he really loves his devotees. He doesn't care for his own promise. He says, my devotee's promise is greater than my promise. It doesn't matter if I have to break my own. And he also shows how he protects his own devotees. So in this pastime, two of this um, Krishna's activities can be seen, how he's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's
And
another I'm sorry.
yeah, you continue. Continue.
Also, I'm not sure if y'all know about the pastime of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know.
So yeah, so in that pastime we can see that Krishna does not excuse. Durvasa Muni came
Yeah.
up to Krishna and said,
Mm.
please take away the Sudarshan Chakra, it's gonna kill me. And Krishna is like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. And Durvasa Muni is like, oh my God, don't you have a heart? And Krishna says, no, I don't. I don't have my heart because my heart is with my devotees. So if you really want to
Wow.
be excused, you please go to Ambarish Maharaj. You ask
Yeah.
for forgiveness. So this is how Krishna, how he's so protective of his devotees. He loves his devotees. And so if one can become a devotee of Krishna, how they can be assured of complete protection. And that's the reason the devotees are fearless, because they know Krishna is there, fearless at the lotus feet of the Lord.
Shilpa, here Madhusudana is addressed, is referred for this thing where Arjuna said this word Madhusudana. Is it
Mm.
referred in reference of uh, Arjuna wanted to say that you want me to kill my family members, the elders, and all the teachers, whereas you yourself killed the demon, Madhu. Have you ever
Mhm.
killed your teacher, Sandipani Muni, or anyone from your family? So why are you
Mm.
asking me? So this is the reference for his name Madhusudana. Am I
Okay,
right?
cool. Yeah, thank you. Very nice.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Papam evashrayed asman
Papam eva
Papam eva ashrayat
advaitan atatayana
asama
Vachan atatayana
tasman naghavayam hantum
tasman
tasmanara vayam hantum
dhatrashtran sabandhavan
dhartarashtranta
dhararashtran sabandavan
sojanam hi katham hatva
swajanam
swajanam hi katham hatva
sukhina shama madhava.
sukhina
sukhinam shama madhava.
madhava.
Would someone else like to read?
I can read.
Okay, please.
Yeah. Translation. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and her friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Purport. According to Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. A poison giver, one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. Such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. The kind of saintliness, however, is not for a Kshatriya. Although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Rama, Ram Rajya. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife Sita, but Lord Rama gave him sufficient lessons, unparalleled in the history of the world.
Can't hear you, Neeta. Hare
I
Krishna.
don't know why.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me now? Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, parents, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, the saintly persons are advised to forgive. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on grounds of religion and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent. So why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjuna addressing of Krishna as Madhava or the husband of the goddess of fortune is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that as a husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone to say nothing of his devotees.
So what are the 6 type of aggressors here, according to Vedic injunctions?
One who gives
The poison giver,
All this Duryodhan did
one who
with
sets fire to the house,
Pandu.
Fire to the house. Yes,
attacking with deadly weapons. Yeah.
yes.
One who robs the riches.
Sorry, yes,
And occupation of another's land or
yes,
kidnapping of someone's wife.
Not one's wife.
yes, yeah. And yes, I'm sorry. As Yogita just mentioned that, yes, Duryodhana did all these things. He did all these things to the Pandavas. So he was really an aggressor, no? Right? Poison giver. Does anyone remember the pastime? What pastime was that?
Yeah.
हाँ,
When he
Bhima,
poisoned Bhima.
Yeah,
Bhima,
yeah.
Bhima.
He gave beam. Yeah. And what incident was the set fire to the house?
Of the Laksha Graha.
Yeah, that's right. And what about attacks with deadly weapons? I'm sure of this one.
Exile that time. When the
Huh?
Pandavas were in the exile, that time Duryodhan sent the deadly weapons.
Poison. Okay. All right. And one who plunders riches, because he wants the kingdom, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
occupies another's land. That's the same. Yeah.
Yes.
And kidnaps the
Yes.
wife.
Draupadi.
So, yeah,
Draupadi.
according to Draupadi, yes. So then should have been killed, but now and Arjuna is saying that, "Oh, but he's my family, and teacher, friends, they're all siding with Duryodhana. So they're not just ordinary aggressors. They're not like, okay, Ram killed Ravan. It was not his family. So Arjuna is thinking, I should forgive, because to forgive, that's the correct, that's a devotee. Devotee always forgives, tolerates, isn't it? So Arjuna, this is what he's thinking. Then why is he calling Krishna as Madhava?
Because he's the goddess, husband of goddess of fortune.
And then, so Krishna, your husband of goddess of fortune, why are you making me do something which will bring misfortune to me? Then, of course, Srila Prabhupada is pointing out, Krishna never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees. Krishna can never do a thing bad about anyone. He doesn't need to. We are, each and every one of us is a part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna is never going to harm any of us. What he tries to arrange is for the good of everyone. That's how he arranges, not tries to. That's how he does it. What's good for everyone. He's the Supreme Lord after all. He's maintaining us, protecting us. Okay. Yadi api ete na pashyanti.
Yadyapi eti na pasyanti.
Lobha pahata chetasa.
Lobo pahata chetasa.
Kula shaya kritam dosham.
Kulashaya kritam dosham.
Mitra drohe cha patakam.
Mitra drohe cha patakam.
Katham na neyam asmabhi.
Katham na janyam asmabhe.
Papad asman nivartitam.
Papad asman nivartitam.
Kula shaya kritam dosham.
Kulashaya kritam dosham.
Prapashyadbhir janardana.
Prapashyat
Prapasyadbir janardana. Translation. O Janardana, although those men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Purpose. A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight.
Yeah, because that's the Kshatriya dharma. So if you're challenged, then you should fight. But Arjuna is thinking, no good thing is going to come out of it, so let me take the high road. That's what he's thinking. Kulashaye pranashyanti.
Kulashaye pranashti.
Kula dharma sanatana.
Kula dharma sanatana.
Dharme nashte kulam kritsnam.
Dharme naste kulam.
Adharmo abhibhavati uta.
Adharma.
Adharmo bhivavata. Translation. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Purport. In the system of the Varnasrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain.
So what is the reason Arjuna is giving that why he does not want to fight? In this verse, what's the reason he's giving?
Sin. Destroying a family is a sin.
Because he's saying we
Yeah.
need elder family members.
Why do we need the elder family members? He's saying. What is he saying?
For the purifying processes in the family.
Family
Yes.
traditions will be the elders
Family
will be.
traditions. Yeah, because when they're elders, they'll teach the younger people, follow these rituals, follow these things, do these righteous things, don't do sinful activities. The elders always guiding the younger. So Arjuna is saying, if all the elders will be dead, because all the men here are assembled, he's like, what's going to happen to the next generation? Nobody's there gonna be there to train them, and so they'll become sinful, irreligious. Adharma bhibhavat Krishna.
Adharma.
Adharma bhi vivat Krishna.
Pradushyanti kulastriya.
Pradushanti kulastriya.
Trishu dushtasu varshneya.
Strushu.
Dustasu varsneya.
Jayate varna shankara.
Jayate varna
Varna sankara. Translation. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. Purport. Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnasrama religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of such of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnasrama system. On the failure of such Varnasrama dharma, naturally the woman is free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
So, any comments? How do we understand this? According, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. How do you all take it?
Because
I'm sorry, Yogita, your voice is very low.
men cannot keep the secrets, so that's why they are
And
not
so,
trustworthy. They say in the Shastras it is said.
well, the way we understand it is, and not only because they can't keep the secret. What happens is here, we women are more emotional, whereas men are more logical. So someone may try to misuse our emotion.
Mm.
Women are more we tend to be very like soft-hearted. Somebody will give us their cry story, and we may say, "Oh, really? Oh my God!" And then we may go out of the way to do some things but it may be just out of this, and the other person might be trying to misuse us. So this is the reason, because we are like children. Women are like children. Huh? So they need guidance. So because we need guidance, that's why it's written, not intelligent. And it's not that we don't know what is to be done, what's not to be done. Yes, we know. But what happens is our emotions, because we are more emotional. We feel more than men. So somebody may misuse that feeling. That's the reason. So then what happens? What is Arjuna saying? So earlier he said, okay, so the men will be dead. The elders won't be there. So there will be irreligion because nobody is there to teach the values to the younger generation. Then, because there is no of this family tradition, he's saying, then the women will get degraded because nobody is there to guide them. And unscrupulous men, they're men who are always looking to take advantage of women. They might take advantage of women. And that's how there might be illegitimate children in the world. And when there's illegitimate children, then of course the society is polluted, degraded. Yeah. And then which causes wars, which causes all the unrest in society. Okay. So should we stop here or what do you want to do? It's almost time up. Or you want to finish this because then the flow goes. Then what happens with the unwanted population? If you'll have.
Finish this.
Yeah, let us
Yeah.
finish this.
Okay. Shankaro Narakaye
Shankaro Narakhaye Vam.
Kulaghanam kulasya cha.
Kulaghanyanam Kulasyacha.
Tanti pitarohi esham.
Patanti Pitro He Cham.
Lukta pindodaka kriya.
Lupta Pinduka Kriya. Translation. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Purport. According to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies such as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in a devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in the Bhagavatam. Devarsi bhutapta naram nanam pitranam na kinkaro nayam rinecharajan sarvatmana ya saranam saranayam gato mukundam paritra kartam. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So Arjuna is saying now that there's going to be Varna Shankara, that there'll be population who's not trained. They themselves are out of wedlock. They're not trained. So then they will not know what pious activities have to be done. They will engage in sinful activities. And then he's saying, then they will not know how to offer Shraddh, offer the food to the ancestors. So then with that, it's going to create more sinful reactions. How will the forefathers be liberated? Because it is the duty of the younger generation to assist the older, to assist the ancestors by offering them food, which is first offered to Lord Vishnu. So here mentioned is subtle and gross bodies. Gross body is this body that we can see, made up of earth, water, air, fire, ether. And the subtle body is mind, intelligence, and false ego. We can't see it, but we have it. So when a living entity has no gross material body, of course they still have a subtle body, then that's called a ghost. Because they don't have a gross body, they just have this mind, intelligence, and false ego. So Arjuna is giving this one more argument that, everything is going to be ruined then. And then, of course, Prabhupada points out that one who is engaged in devotional service, he does not have to fulfill these obligations. As even Lord Nishingadev told Prahlad Maharaj, your generations, previous and future generations. I forget, is it 41 or 20, 14 or 21? They're all liberated because you are a devotee. So your future and your previous and generations are liberated. Prabhupada is giving evidence also from Bhagavatam and to 11, uh, which is being said that one who has taken up devotional service, he has no other obligation. He's like no obligation to the demigods, sages, living entities, family members, humankinds, or forefathers. Now we may say, oh, well, so I can act irrationally. I've taken up devotional service. I've begun to hear and chant, so I have no obligation to anyone. But here, this is who is taken to the path in all seriousness. So this is like a pure devotee. He's a pure devotee. So then we may say, oh, but we are on the path. Well, what Lord Chaitanya says, be wherever you are, do whatever you are doing, chant Hare Krishna and give Krishna consciousness to others. Give this Hare Krishna to others and continue doing your duty. Because if we act irrationally after hearing this, and then we are still under the modes of nature, and our modes will make us act. They will make us act. So, but yes, but we should understand that by engaging in devotional service, that's the best service that we can do to our previous generations and future generations. That's the best, best help that we can give them. The best thing we can do for their welfare is if we become devotees ourselves. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So let's stop here for today. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.